Now, here on Focus on Africa, we've been inspired by the BBC's music station One Extra season on spoken word. Called Words First, it's been celebrating the growing art form of performance poetry. So we've commissioned 3 poets from the diaspora in the UK to write exclusive pieces for Focus. We gave them the very topical but broad theme of migration. Today we meet Yomi Sode, a Nigerian-born author living in London. He has written a poem called Johnny Just Come. Let's take a look at his poem, and just a warning, there's a use of an offensive word in this piece.
Johnny just come, hair nappy looking with dry chalk-like partings between his shaky fingers. The West End wind wakes each follicle in his skin saying, welcome. Your life is no longer what it used to be. Johnny has arrived. The only one in his family to do what others couldn't. A pressure so high it's as if from now on he will live each day on a tightrope, and who can blame him? The last time I saw as many white people on TV was the Brit Awards, Tawi, the royal family. In Nigeria, you stare at white people, look at something peculiar. You take selfies, test whether they can pronounce words, and laugh at the tongue's rebellion to pepper. So Johnny pinches himself to see if it's real. Johnny, this is real. He knows the world is no safer when his family has him in prayers. Johnny greets everything that breathes. He is stunned. People carrying plastic bags to scoop their dog's mess. Wearing t-shirts showing their chest hairs. Wearing shorts and weather that has them pleading with the gods. How can they do this, he wonders? Their legs like toothpicks, where's the meat for warmth? Johnny just come, holding a bag filled with fruits, a map, African cuisine, and £10. The highest sum of money in his years of life. In Nigeria, holding such a note would make him the man. So in London, he thinks this be big money. But unfortunately, London is far from easy. The air tastes metallic and the map smells like paint. Everything is confusing. Little does he know, but Johnny will learn the culture and swallow his mother tongue. His hair, once snappy, will neaten at the edges. Johnny will have swag. Tasting a strawberry lip gloss on female lips, his excitement will heighten. When you both girl, they like me. He will then truly arrive. But Johnny will grow and be made more aware of his blackness. He might get robbed a couple times, he might get called a nigger. His blackness might attract the attention of gangs, his blackness will intimidate people, his blackness will make him question other people's blackness. Then he'll wonder why he left Nigeria in the first place. Behind closed doors, the police can be just as brutal. Bombs still go off in random places, though not as bloody as home. Not as heart-wrenching as 86 kids being burned alive or 200 plus kids being kidnapped. Maybe he'll carry a knife. But Johnny's not built to injure a man, nor was he born into this world for prison life. He has a mother that cares, and the last thing she wants is for her son to be made a stereotype. One of many words he will learn through his lifetime, Johnny has arrived. And when he returns back to Nigeria, he might get taunted for being black, but not African. Then he'll find himself in limbo. Johnny has arrived. In this odd moment where being an African in England is a cool thing. White folks speak of the banj, sing to Wizkid, culturally appropriate waist beads and native attire. Caribbeans do the shoki as if the dance is their own. His culture is celebrated with every turn he takes. But once in a while, he's reminded that this is not home. Each time his surname is mispronounced, notices a clutch bag, watches footage of these people being called immigrants, watches YouTube clips of go back home to where you come from. Inside, a part of him dies. Inside, he felt as if this was home. Outside, though.
Well, Yomi joins me now. Very intense stuff, Yomi. Why is identity such a big problem for people like you?
Personally, for me, it's a journey that I felt I had to go through. It's as simple as if I'm not going to get this information from people that I might look up to, then there needs to be a way for me to find this information. For me, at the time growing up, if I'm talking to, be it friends or uncles or aunties, if they weren't willing to give me that information, or if I wasn't receiving it, I had to find other means to get that. And identity for me was important because it shapes who I am and who I
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I must say that when you came to the UK, you didn't go back to Nigeria again for such a long time. I mean, you only went back in 2013.
Yeah.
Were you able to reconnect at all in Nigeria?
It was hard. I remember specifically even at one point changing drivers because I wasn't speaking Yoruba, which hurt me a bit because, you know, there should be another way in which
Yoruba is your parents' language.
Yes, so
I mean, and you understand it. You don't speak it.
Not as much,
but because your mom spoke it to you at home, you understand
all the time.
it.
All the time, mom would speak it to me as well as speaking English. So in a way, going between both cultures to a certain degree was quite difficult. And to find your placement, especially now, you know, at my age, is quite easy for me now because I can really identify with myself, but I can't say the same for younger siblings, for example. There has to be something in place where they need to identify in going forward, because it's very hard to find yourself nowadays.
And of course, spoken word is becoming a very powerful art form.
Yes.
I mean, is it easy for you to express yourself through that medium?
Well, yes. In the video, actually, it was quite. I had to calm myself because a lot of the thought processes in terms of what I was writing came from a passionate space. So I didn't want to look too angry on camera. So there had to be a way for me to still get the message across, still be as calm as possible. But those were very felt. Every word that was actually writing down, expressing was deep, it's passionate to me.
And it's quite interesting because, you know, it wasn't just you who was having these doubts about who you were. No. Even your friends who have Caribbean roots also face the same problem. So is it a black thing, or do you find Eastern Europeans also facing that problem here in the UK? I
feel through the discussions with my friends, it was a thing where, you know, we're seeking knowledge, we're seeking this. What is our identity? What is our root? You know, what is the story? And if those stories are not being told to us, then you find yourself in a limbo in terms of trying to latch on to the closest thing that you can find in terms of belonging. So why that conversation with my friends really blossomed in the way it did was because there was this mutual acknowledgement that, wow, this was you as well. This was you as well. A JJC, for example, one of my friends has never heard of it, but then when we unpicked it...
because they said it was just getting off the boat. Listen, you're doing great stuff, man. Really appreciate your coming in, and all the best, right?